Okay, so to continue on all my yapping today, on Throat Chakra Wednesday, I'm sharing some of my channeled messages and taking inspired action on some of the things that I feel like I'm meant to share for whatever it's worth. So I know there's people who want to know more about like my creative process, and I know it's also a big, thick like calling, right, on these like content creation spaces. So it's like, what is your process? Well, a big part of my process and everything that I do is self-care. As you can tell, I'm in my cozy, like this makes me feel nice. This is comfortable for me. I like how light it is, I like how pretty it is. I just feel really good wearing it, but I also, even though it's super hot outside, inside to keep it cool for the dogs and for my polar bear hubby, it's freezing in here for me, and I love a good like cozy robe. So there's also significance and magic with robes, and you know what? It can be a house coat. Okay? Definitely lean into being comfortable. I've always expressed myself in this way. My grandmother, a Leo, with a Libra moon and a Cancer stellium. Sammy Louise, Wheezy, my grandmother, I miss her very much. And a cardinal came to meet me this morning in the window, and so I just, I always associate that with my grandmother being here, so I feel like this is a huge, calling into all of those different synchronicities and why this is important. Because as a little girl, I would do a weekly, pretty routinely, like I've had cycles, and like as I've been doing inner child healing, and a lot of other like self-reflection tools, as I've been stepping into this healing path and this spiritual journey and everything, going back to my inner child and where my free cycles are. So as a kid, I was very determined in taking care of myself. But my grandmother, a Leo, a beautician, she also really tried to instill that. 1950s, there's a lot of other constructs I've definitely deconstructed, glamour magic, beauty, femininity, like these, Venetian themes. I have a Libra North Node in the 4th house, so like there's some like fun connections there that I associate with this like, learning experience, this healing journey, and why this is so significant. Just because like I feel like everyone has a different definition of what their self-care routine looks like. I think people should lean into it. For me, I'm a bougie bitch, man. I am high maintenance. I have, I require a lot of upkeep, but I think just generally speaking, humans do, and I don't think society wants people understanding just how much effort you need to put into taking care of yourself, because they like to exploit you. And I really don't take well to being exploited. I don't think anybody does, but I've definitely rebelled against it. It's definitely been Spirit the Horse, like the Disney movie, that has always felt like a significant archetype for me. I remember as a child when I got to go see it in theaters for my birthday. I was in kindergarten, I think. But I had a huge, like, strong horse phase, and Black Beauty was always significant to me. So there was a lot of these, like, really fun memories and themes of just, like, remembering like how creative I have always been and how creative I want to continue to be. And when I was a child, like I really took care of myself. I was outside a lot. I was always doing a beauty routine. Like can you see? I have a homemade hair mask, and I have some skincare product and some other things. I'll explain all of this like more, but that goes into it. I'm gonna sit and take a bath while I'm also like gonna be getting through some of the drafting and insights, meditations, whatever, for social media, like what I'm sharing, what I'm building with Rock Oracle, and all of the above. Just really kind of not just starting over, but experimenting with what it is that I want to continue to share and build, and this next phase of being. I've definitely gone back and forth, and I had like this whole wild journey into this expression, and so it's forever unraveling and unfolding, so unveiling itself to you. So welcome to this process. This is part of the creative process, just kind of talking. It's usually internal. Like my brain is constantly just going. And that's why I also feel like it helps to slow down, take care of myself. I feel like this is like Taurus and Leo, Pisces. It's my Leo moon in the second house for sure. And just like not just femininity, but like to bring femininity into it. I would love to speak from that of a woman, a witch with the moon cycles. I'm in my like luteal phase, moving into like the late luteal phase. So I'm also feeling tired. I created a lot of different things. That was my bouquet to Jason, was 6 articles. And now I'm like doing the series, and but then there's that balance of masculinity where you have that 24-hour cycle, and how do you keep working every day and showing up? Well, it's showing up ugly. It's showing up like in the trenches. And I like to show the different ways that I look at every different moment. So in some of my videos, I would express myself to just not like looking my best, not feeling my best, like definitely just very lazy, just like not autopilot, not like just mundane, like I'm just on a rhythm, I'm just on a pace, just like when you're working out or like climbing, I'm out hiking, like there's so many different ways in which we look gross. So if you want to reference this to music, to rock Oracle, Smell Me I'm Running by Maria Magdalene, I believe. I wrote an article about that, and I just love like that femininity of like, yeah, like even women like will look gross when they're they're fucking working, and there's like we're working in so many different ways all the time, and it's also been through my journey of redefining what work means, redefining or like applying spiritual intention into ritualizing my routine. So like everything I did was intentional, despite potential circumstances, breaking those paradigms. Like, oh man, I like one of my money stories is constantly like, well, I don't have money for this, and so like I try to do the best, and then I forget all these other skills. Like as a child, that creativity to be like, damn, oh, I don't have a product. Oh, I have eggs and mayo and honey. I have an avocado. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna whip that bitch up and put it in my hair because it's gonna do the same thing. Like we don't need all of these other, like this goes into my, tirade about consumerism and just that balance of materialism, but also recognizing like, you can always find a way to get what you need. You just have to open your mind. And then, there is moderation. There's all kinds of things that could go into that. But I've just been working. I have, my investments, my prosperous investments are directed elsewhere. And those are like different cycles. And people tend to, like I've talked about this before, but people judge people when it's like, when they're in low seasons or down seasons. It's not even really a down season. I'm just fucking working, bitch. I'm just in the fucking trenches, and you're judging me because you're afraid to get your fucking hands dirty. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, but I'm still a girl. I'm still a princess. And so it's like, oh, I'm moving into, I can start my period on July 4th. They're supposed to. We'll see what happens. I find that timing super fun in a spiritual perspective. But so leaning into the end of my luteal, hormonally feeling drained. Like, I've been off birth control. I released my IUD June 10th, 2022. It's a Virgo first quarter. And I just find that like really significant in this, like, again, more aspects of my healing journey, self-discovery, finding a sense of understanding within myself, who I am, my family, my upbringing, my environment, and what life I want to create. Well, I want to create a life of not just beauty. I talk about a life of beauty, of justice, of harmony, but like just a wellness. Like, oh my gosh, I just want health. Like I have a big thing. I'm just like I said, I just really take care of myself. I want to look good. I want to feel good. I think we all do. And I think that looks different to everybody. Some people it's big muscles, some people it's a slender fit, some people, it's more curvy, other people it's tall, other people it's short, like I want people to find their vibe and find out who they are, because some things can't be helped. I do try to approach a more natural approach. However, you know, I go get facials when I get the opportunity. Like, I do believe in certain like maintenance and modern technology for overall like youthful rejuvenation. I do think that there's a balance and an ethics level with that. And I do think the more natural, the better. So like, you know, if I can support a local esthetician, I absolutely would. I think it's actually really important, especially if you have a friend who has an esthetician, like small business. Go support them. Dermatology, like big pharma, like you know, they're necessary. I think like the holistic practitioners and the Western medicine practitioners like need to be working together. I think estheticians and dermatologists need to be working together more hand in hand than they are. There's a weird competition. There is demonization. There is what's the word? They discredit people's purpose, and like I think everyone at every level serves a purpose. And I don't think there should be this weird hierarchy of competition. I've learned a lot from dermatologists, and I've learned more from estheticians, and like the beauty journalists, okay, trying to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and I think that's, you know, I think that's super cool. I think there's a huge space for it, like women's needs, products, spaces, desires, blah blah blah. Like there's a thing for, you know, the beauty world of things. And I do feel like it's been exploited by men and the patriarchy and other things, and I think it's up to women to redirect that in a lot of ways. And so with that, if I can support a small local esthetician over like a big chain situation, I will, or like do something special for the direct person I am working with. It depends on where you live and all these other things and what's available to you. But if I, like when my budget doesn't call for me to, you know, splurge on all these like frivolous skincare products, top end things, all the things, right? I get just as much luxury at home with putting some like quick little vitamin C, or not vitamin C, vitamin E, like that, like lotion. Like I have things like I know how to make homemade things. But there's a fine line in homemade, to be honest. I think it's like you don't want too much of anything, and you're gonna have a reaction like one way or another. I think with certain products, like homemade products, I do think like their cycles are different. Okay, and so this goes back to ritualizing your routine and not being excessive, more moderation, aspects of things. I do think you're falling. I think I was watching that. Okay, maybe, I don't know. It just seemed like it was slowly tipping. Anyway, so lessons of balance. I do think like everything serves its purpose, just like that's what I like about astrology, is it every phase focuses, spotlights something, and you can digest that and you can move on to it, but then it's all connected, and that's the spiral and the is it not mandala? Is it mandalas? Whatever those like kaleidoscope pattern frequency things are, you know, people know what I'm fucking talking about. Mosaics, whatever. So I'm gonna get some water. So anyway, like I said, a big part of that creative process is like adding intention. So I think about all of these different, you know, themes, and like what is the best thing to do for myself that day to get to where I want to go. Sometimes that is, you know, taking care of myself and slowing down, like super slowing down. Like, you know, I'm not busy out in the world. You know, I'm not flying. I am resting at home. Absolutely necessary. And like I said, I ritualize it with a lot of like the witchcraft intention, like a ritual bath. I genuinely, for myself, to be transparent in who I am, I'm not just taking a bath. And yes, is there a benefit to just taking a bath? And you can have like absolutely no spiritual attachment to it whatsoever. But I really do like to associate all of the different things, like spell work, into everything that I do is full of spell work. Bayless, are you taking over my camera with your tongue? Sorry, buddy, but your tongue's flopping and it's picking you up over me. That's so silly. So anyway, with all of that, a big part of my creative process is just living my life and taking care of myself and slowing down to meet my needs. Especially as like a woman, you know, like those menstrual cycles, I think it's really important. I think it's an injustice in our culture that we don't respect when women need to slow down and honor these cycles and phases. And you know, and I think every cycle looks different. Like there's not every luteal phase is this like super tired thing. I think we're just so much more of a reflection of nature than we realize. And you know, I think like everyone talks about the weather pattern changes and how like, oh, you experience all 4 seasons in a week. Well, you know, there's like a off balance in a sense. And part of, you know, recentering is aligning ourselves with nature and those seasonal cycles. And so that's kind of like where at the summer solstice, at this peak high energy situation, like, yes, I'm slowing down and more present, but I'm also like super productive because this is like the life cycle of everything. So like I'm still working and creating and doing all the work things while doing a hair mask, having a face mask and looking nice and shiny and oily and greasy and all those things. I'm going to sit in a ritual bath and cleanse and all of the other beautiful intentions that fit into this. I'm a huge water bug. I love water. And then I'm just going to be creating things. I'm going to be piecing things together. I'm going to be sharing more. But it all, like I said, it depends on what I'm creating. And I made the decision that today, Throat Chakra Wednesday, Mercury Day, so I tend to do a lot of my social media or like technological workings on this day more than other days. Doesn't mean I don't utilize it in other days, but this day is like a priority day. So again, it's how do you structure and prioritize everything? So structuring and prioritizing the into my spiritual cycles and for energetic support and advancement. Also just like more like it's how I can ground and embody my spiritual path into like my day-to-day life. And then like it builds relationships. So like that's another thing, you know, like building a relationship with astrology and building a relationship with cycles. There are gonna be times where not every cycle is like, you know, and then it becomes practice. Like there's a lot of things that I just don't even think about, and it's just an intuitive or subconscious, unconscious, like programmed autopilot for lack. It's still intentional, but like it's like it's become routine. It's become programming through it, like intentional discipline, to where I don't have to waste energy bringing it to the conscious as much. And like that's like a never-ending practice. And there are times where I focus on different things. And that's kind of been like what I've shared a few, like in variety of podcasts, a lot of my articles, like I like this teaching role, my job, my role as an occupational therapy assistant when I worked with kiddos and human development, and all these other like different components of my life of stepping into this like unconventional teacher. A lot of what I feel like I've been trying to share is this way to live a quality life that you desire, and finding like learning yourself to then structure your life into that highest level of independence, which is what a lot of occupational therapy taught me. So I learned how to do it through school, and then I learned how to do it for other people. And then over the last 6 years, I've been learning how to apply it to myself, and that's where now I feel confident to be at a level to share that process with you all. I feel like can explain it better than I have in the past. Also in hopes to some degree that people understand or respect where I am coming from and what it is that I am sharing with you, my perspective, so to see it with an open heart and an open mind. And regardless of how you relate to all of my other philosophical expressions, please enjoy the art and the music and everything that it is. I do think that we're building something really special. We're teaching people something really valuable, which is high quality of life and independence, despite your circumstances, disabilities, diversities, and just, again, individualities. So it is the individual for the individual that is in alignment, balanced, centered ground with the collective, harmony for nature, society, like nature, nurture, society, civilization, culture, people, humanity, men, women, parents, adults, children, like all of the different dynamics in which there are opposites. How do we harmonize and educate or curate that flow of confidence, authority, or respect? And part of that, I think, is by creating a world in which we can slow down and really take care of ourselves, similar into the way that I express how I take care of myself. I try my very best to be to lead by example. I take care of myself and I want other people to take care of themselves. It's not rules for thee, not for me, or whatever. This is a standard that I want to create for everybody. I want it to be embedded within our culture, that we all take these moments to really take care of ourselves. Like, it shouldn't be weird to work from home in the way that we do, to take a bath in the middle of the day, to maybe take a nap in the middle of the day. As long as the work gets done, I don't think it matters exactly how. I think this rigid structure that has been a foundation of our society is collapsing, and I think it's time for something new, because we are really desiring to re-spark the flame of humanity in Earth, in life. What a crazy concept. New Earth is really just reconnecting to the soul, because we've been disconnected from the soul for quite some time, I firmly believe. And so a big part of what Rock Oracle is doing to bring people together through music is reminding us of our humanity and our similarities despite our differences, and encouraging one another to support one another in these individual heroes journeys that we are on. So with that, I'm gonna continue on my creative process, and I'm gonna super lounge and just make sure that my body and my vessel is able to physically support the output that I'm generating. But taking care of my long, beautiful hair, making sure my skin, not just youthful, not just pretty, but just healthy. Everything that I focus on is health. If you think that I look fabulous, if my glamour magic is representing beauty, it is because beauty is wellness. I firmly believe in that. So with that, I'm gonna hop in the bath and make some fun little creative visual art reels and TikToks and whatever else. But I wanted to add another layer of behind the scenes, behind the process. We do magic and self-care over here.